You're selling on Amazon and Shopify and assume sales tax is handled by them, but you have no idea if you're paying it twice or not at all. Amazon and Shopify handle this differently, and most sellers don't find out which one's actually covering them until they're already behind. We work with multi-channel sellers on this regularly, and today I'm breaking down how each platform handles it. Let's start with Amazon. Amazon is what's known as a marketplace facilitator. That means Amazon is legally responsible for calculating, collecting, and remitting sales tax on behalf of third-party sellers for transactions that happen on its platform. Every state with a sales tax has now passed marketplace facilitator laws, and Amazon is required to collect under all of them. So when a customer buys from a third-party seller on Amazon, Amazon handles the sales tax piece, not the seller. For Amazon sellers, this is genuinely good news. It removes a significant compliance burden from the individual seller's plate. But it doesn't remove all of it. And that's where the nuance starts, because Amazon handling the collection and remittance doesn't mean the seller is completely off the hook. And there are two important details to understand here. First, Amazon Marketplace sales still count toward a seller's economic nexus threshold in most states. The fact that Amazon is collecting the tax doesn't remove those sales from the nexus calculation. So a seller who crosses $100,000 in sales into a state through Amazon has established economic nexus there, even if Amazon remitted every dollar of the tax. That means the seller may still have a registration obligation in that state. Second, once registered, a seller is technically required to file returns in that state, even if Amazon is collecting all the tax and there's nothing additional to remit. For a seller who is exclusively on Amazon with no other sales channels, those returns would simply be zero returns, showing that Amazon handled everything. This is not the most burdensome situation, but it's worth knowing. Where this gets meaningfully more complicated is when a seller is also running a Shopify store, because this is where a lot of sellers get caught off guard. Shopify is not a marketplace facilitator. It is an e-commerce platform that provides the tools to build and run an online store, but it does not collect and remit sales tax on the seller's behalf. That responsibility stays entirely with the seller. What that means in practice is that if a seller has Nexus in a state and is making sales through their Shopify storefront, they are responsible for collecting the correct tax from customers at checkout, filing returns with the state, and remitting the tax owed. Shopify can help configure tax settings and calculate rates, but the legal obligation to collect and remit stays with you, the seller. This surprises a lot of sellers who are accustomed to Amazon handling it. The assumption that the platform takes care of it doesn't apply on Shopify. When a seller is operating on both Amazon and Shopify simultaneously, the compliance picture gets more complicated, and this is where mistakes tend to happen. The most common issue is double remittance. If a seller doesn't properly account for the tax Amazon has already collected and remitted on their behalf, they can inadvertently include those Amazon sales when filing their own returns and end up paying the state twice. Getting the accounting right so that Amazon collected tax is tracked separately from Shopify collected tax is essential. The second issue is threshold tracking. Because Amazon Marketplace sales count toward Nexus thresholds in most states, a seller may cross a threshold faster than they realize, especially if they're only tracking their Shopify sales. The full picture requires looking at total sales into each state across both channels. And the third issue is filing obligations. A seller with both Amazon and Shopify sales in a state can no longer file a simple zero return. There's real Shopify revenue to report and remit. The returns become more involved, and the stakes of getting the allocation wrong go up accordingly. This is why it's important to pay attention to notices that you're receiving from the state where you're selling. But are you? And what do you do with those notices? Well, for more on that, check out this video. And remember, when in doubt, always consult with a sales tax professional.